new until I have a need to learn something new. All right, Morales Jr. S. Morales Jr., that's what it is. Any advice on escaping the golden handcuffs and going freelance? I have a cushy non-developer job at Google, and it's hard to imagine leaving when I have a family and a mortgage, but I long for freedom. And this topic of freelancer is another topic that has come up many times. So let me address it right now. You know, I get to work remotely. I get to work for myself, which I feel very fortunate about, and I'm extremely lucky. But when it comes to freelancing, I actually am against freelancing. Obviously, every situation is different, but let me explain why I think freelancing might not be the best option for most of you. Not all of you, but for most of you. You see, when it comes to freelancing, let's say you're just starting to learn. You're just learning to code. If you go straight into freelancing, you lose the ability to work with others, to learn from others, and actually be in a company and understand how their processes work, how they work with developers. You gain a lot of experience by working on projects with others, with other developers, working with management teams, working with project managers, scrum masters. That's a really valuable experience that I really recommend for people just getting into coding. Now, let's say that you've had a couple of years of experience. You've worked with teams, you have that experience. Should you go into freelancing? I think you should go into freelancing if you have a clear edge or a clear advantage over others. For example, you have an existing client base and you have people that really trust your work, or you offer a really unique skill. The problem with freelancing right now is that you're essentially battling with thousands, potentially millions of other freelancers to get a job. A lot of people might go to places like Upwork or any type of place where you can bid on projects. What happens is, in those scenarios, people just bid, and it's a battle to lower and lower prices. So what happens, you eventually become an employee of a contract that you probably didn't charge enough for. So it's really hard for you to compete with people that keep lowering prices, and you'll see that if you're a freelancer, that's what will happen. Unless you have an established client base, unless you have a really distinct advantage, maybe you're extremely skilled in graphic design and you're well known, then yes, maybe you can charge more for it. But people that are usually looking for freelancers are usually looking for the cheapest price. And when you do that, you stop valuing your time. You stop being a slave to the person that created the contract, and you're trying to fulfill and please this person so that they give you a good review for the next contract job. I think freelancer jobs can be good, but there's also a lot of issues that come with it. If you want to be a freelancer or perhaps be your own boss, I think there's better ways for you to go about it. I think there's smarter ways to go about it instead of competing with others on price. So I know that's not really helpful. It's just my personal opinion when it comes to freelancing, but it is a question that I get asked a lot. Freelancing essentially involves you taking a lot of time finding clients, working a lot for clients, and at the end of the day, why not just work for a company that already has the clients for you so you can gain that experience? You might think you have the freedom of being a freelancer, being your own job, but instead you're an employee of whoever your contractor is. That's my advice. I know it's not very helpful. But like I said, it's not for everybody. I think there's better opportunities for you to work remotely. You can work for remote companies. There's tons of websites right now of showing companies that hire remote workers. I think that's a better option for you than being a freelancer because the reasons that I mentioned previously. JT Avares 8 asks, how is life as far as time spent with family and doing what you like now as an instructor and before when you work for a company? Do you enjoy work more now or before when you work for a company? hands down, I absolutely love what I'm doing now. I wake up every day and all I can think about is work and what I'm going to teach, or what video I'm going to record, or what coding challenge I'm going to do. I feel so extremely lucky to be at a point in my life where I absolutely adore and love what I'm doing. And I wouldn't trade it for anything in the world. Being a developer was absolutely great. Working full-time for a company, I loved it. You know, I had a lot of friends. I got along really well with my bosses, with my clients. But having the freedom to work on what I want, to work on my projects, but most importantly, knowing that the work that I do maybe impacts just a little bit of the world, I think is a really rewarding feeling, and I'm extremely thankful to know that, you know, not everybody's going to love my courses, but at least there are some that do enjoy my courses and gain a bit of help in their career through it, and that is the most rewarding feeling. And honestly, the past 2 years since I've started to teach have been some of the happiest moments of my life, and I know this thing isn't going to last forever. I know I'm not going to teach forever, but I'm really appreciative of this moment to have this opportunity, at least for now. All right, Mr. Luciferus asks, a safe, secure, and stable life being a skillful employee working for someone else, or dreaming big and starting a business on your own and being your own boss? What path do you suggest? Honestly, it really depends. I think everybody wants the ideal work for yourself, own your own business, work remotely, live wherever you want. It sounds sexy, but it's not for everybody. And you know, before I started teaching, before I was a developer, I started a bunch of businesses. I was running surf and yoga retreats in Nicaragua. I was doing adventure tours. I was doing adventure race businesses. I was trying all these different things that in the end weren't extremely successful, but they were a lot of fun. And meanwhile, I had friends who were doing their MBAs, they were becoming lawyers, and you know, they have really nice life right now. They have families, they're very comfortable, and there's actually an advantage there. As you start to work at a company and you see people leave that company, most people think, oh, I should leave too. But you can also look at it as an opportunity for somebody else has left. Now you are one step closer to going up that corporate or company ladder. So I think it's not one is better than the other. It really depends on what you prefer, what kind of lifestyle you prefer. Do you want more of a stable, comfortable life to make sure that you can provide for your family, or are you at a stage in your life where you can perhaps take more risks and you're okay with the high ups and high downs that may pay off, may not in the end. But I think every day, if you're working towards what your ideal life should look like, eventually you will get there, but don't expect to get there overnight. You know, it's hard work. Nothing comes easy. There's no easy solution. So all you can do is kind of work towards that goal and learn every day and improve every day, and eventually you'll get there. But it really matters. It's the best thing you can do is to have a plan for yourself, and write down what you value, and based on those values and what makes you happy, decide what type of path you want to take. I got all philosophical there for you. All right, let's get back to some coding. Justin W. Lin, hey Justin, asks, how do you decide to learn next in this ever-changing landscape? From Redux, GraphQL, React, Angular, Vue, SSR, there's so much to learn, so little time. So I guess, how do you decide what to learn then, and how you actually learn and make time for it? I think this is actually something I'm pretty good at, or I think I'm good at, and that is because when I started to learn how to code, I realized how much is out there. I've become really good at selecting only the right things to learn. And there's the famous Pareto principle, which says the 20% usually accounts for 80% of value. So what's the 20% that's going to give you 80% of value when learning? And you know, things like GraphQL, for example, they're extremely popular, so a lot of people want to learn it. But at the end of the day, how many people actually use GraphQL in production? How many people have actually built something with GraphQL that creates a value? I like to look at technologies and see what's hot and what's trending, but not necessarily jump really deep into them until there's a clear need for me to learn it. So for example, Vue.js, yeah, I know a bit of Vue.js, but I wouldn't call myself an expert because I haven't had to use Vue. I can use React or I can use Angular. So being selective in what you learn instead of trying to learn everything is going to be a better long-term strategy over the course of your career, because learning never stops. And the more you learn, the more you start to realize that it's not about the syntax, it's not about learning the libraries, it's not about reading the documentation from start to finish. It's about understanding the higher principles, the why was this tool built? Why are we doing things the way it is? What problem is it solving? Being able to understand those and discuss those is going to be really, really important, because at the end of the day, the fundamentals is what matters, not the syntax. If you learn the fundamentals, if you learn to think like a developer, think about systems and how things communicate, that's a lot more valuable than learning the newest React hooks API. I mean, that could still be important, but as you can see, I'm very selective in what I learn. And I'm not trying to learn 10 languages at the same time. If I want to learn something, I'll dedicate maybe a year to get really, really good at something and then move on to the next thing. So really being picky, as if you're dating a new technology, and making sure that it's the right one is the way to go. Oh, and with that said, you obviously have to enjoy what you're doing. If you don't enjoy learning, then that's going to be really hard. So that's just something that has to come for yourself, and being able to enjoy the learning process, because that's going to be your biggest asset. If you enjoy learning, you're going to learn more. Adrian asks, how long do you plan on continuing doing courses? Because, well, this isn't going to last forever, right? Honestly, I'm not sure. It's been close to 2 years now that I've been doing this. I don't imagine doing this for a lifetime. There's only so much I could teach. I'm going to keep going until I stop enjoying it. Right now, I really enjoy the process. I get a lot of reward by hearing your reviews and how pleased you are with the courses. So that really drives me to create more. But eventually, I will have to stop. I can't just keep creating courses. They do take a lot of time and effort. So I hope that I can keep going for a few more years. But one day, maybe retire and spend a little more time with family or move on to something else. But for now, don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Balloon asks, do you play any instruments? No, I am the least musically talented, artistically talented person you'll ever meet. I took piano lessons, guitar lessons when I was a kid, and I'm hopeless. Thank God coding exists, and thank God sports exist, because if I had to do anything in the arts, I would not be very good. Garasan asks, it would be really inspirational for all of us to what do you want to do with the next 10 years of your life? Coding, business, looks like he's the same age as me, so just asking what's the next 10 years of my life look like? The next 10 years of my life is going to involve learning every day. I want to, whether it's coding, whether it's different things, I have different hobbies that I want to keep improving at. I really like surfing, so I want to become a better surfer. And there's so many things that I really want to improve. So honestly, every single day, my goal is to learn. I want to hopefully have a family by then and have a house and just enjoy life. And hopefully in 10 years, I'm retired, being able to spend every single day with my son or daughter and just enjoying life. But honestly, what I'm doing now is not much different than what I hope to be doing 10 years from now, because I am really, really happy with how life is right now, and I wouldn't really change anything. Dorian again asks, do you think all the races you do and yoga and exercises help you mental clarity and have helped your career as a developer when things get rough? Yeah, so fun fact, I'm also a yoga instructor on the side, and I do a lot of adventure racing as well, and both of those things I think actually really help with being a developer, and dealing with different situations at work. I think for adventure racing, it puts you into situations that are extremely uncomfortable that you have to just survive through. And then with yoga, obviously, it stills your mind, especially with meditation as well. I think those are extremely important, especially when compared to coding, when you're staring at the screen and everything is usually fast-paced and it's really, really easy to get lost in your head. I think balancing out coding with something that's complete opposite, like yoga or meditation. Again, not to get a little hippie here, but I think doing different things is important, and being physically active, being mentally strong this is your vessel and this is your body, and you should take care of it, and it will only improve you as a developer and as a coder. So I 100% think that although for some people it may be silly to meditate, although for some people they don't enjoy exercising, everybody has their different things, but I think doing something other than coding is really, really important for that balance and to not burn yourself out. Asim Ahmed asked about interview and the fact that he's really worried about interviews and that he doesn't know enough. And honestly, just keep this in mind, because this is something I hear from so many people. Everybody is just a child trapped in an adult's body. No human knows everything perfectly, and most likely the person sitting across from you that's asking you a question on an interview doesn't know everything, has their own insecurities, has their own areas that they're not an expert in. So go into an interview knowing that this person is not God. It's not the ultimate smartest person that you'll ever meet. They have their flaws and their issues. And if you start to realize that there's no such thing as a perfect developer, a perfect coder, and everybody is just trying to pretend like they're smart, everybody's just trying to pretend like they're an adult. Remember, everybody's just a kid trapped inside an adult's body. You start to realize that this whole world that we live in, this whole system that we're in, is just a game. Just like you're a coder, just like you're a programmer and you're trying to create a system, this is simply a system that you need to learn, to adapt to, and to try to essentially beat or improve. So put yourself in their situation. They want to feel important. They want to feel like they're doing a good job. So maybe asking them questions during the interview, maybe praising them for something that they did, even though they're the ones being interviewed, is going to make them feel better. That perhaps will make them ask you better or easier questions. Again, think of it as a system. Think of it as a game, and realize that there is nothing is extremely serious and important. Everything is just a game that you can play and that you can improve. And if you start looking at life, at interviews as a game, I think it becomes a lot more fun, and it also removes some of those insecurities. I don't know if that answer helped, but kind of went on a tangent there, but hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, last question, because this video is getting a little too long. So Charles Manchin asks, what's the typical day for you at the moment? Your courses are that's very kind of you. Seem to be your healthy way of living and your sporty attitude. It'd almost be worth a course on how to balance your life and the way you do things while you code. I guess I kind of already talked about this, but my everyday life usually involves in the morning drinking coffee, reading articles and catching up in the industry, learning a little bit. I really like morning for learning, and then I usually either record or plan recording or edit videos in the afternoon. Then around 1-2 o'clock I usually go out for a run, do some exercises, try to get outside, not stare at a screen, and be active. And then I come back. I usually check out my emails, answer questions, go on Discord and chat with other students. And then usually by 5 o'clock, I'm done. I don't do any work. I stop whatever I'm doing, because I know after 5 o'clock, for me personally, I'm not productive. So I usually spend time with family, with my girlfriend, or do social activities, or maybe go play some tennis, go play some soccer, go for a hike, just to relax. And I usually go to bed at 10 o'clock. Not that very exciting. I don't enjoy going to bars or clubs anymore. I'm an old soul, and at 10 o'clock I'm ready for bed and I'm ready for the next day. So a pretty boring day, nothing too exciting, but it's what I like. All right. Anyway, this was the AMA video. Again, I want to thank you. I cannot believe that there's 100,000 students that are taking my courses, and honestly, if it was just me, I would never get to 100,000 students. It's every single one of you that talk to others, recommend my courses, that really help me get to where I am, and I cannot express how thankful I am for everything that you have done, that you have shown support for, and I hope to continue to keep impressing you and keep helping you with your learning journey. And yeah, I'm really thankful. So thank you.